Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we are back on the Drone Age dev server and it's time to have a look at the HMAS Arrow. Now this is a Her Majesty's Australian service ship, or ship I should say, and it's a little machine, nothing too crazy, but it follows the same line as the wonderful Kim Kui in the American setup. So if you have a look at the Kim Kui, it's right on here by itself. It's a foreign ship technically in the American setup, and for Britain, now, in their area, in rank 4, you have the HMAS Arrow, which is kind of protruding its own line as well from a foreign land. So the Arrow has access to a 40mm, the QF Mark 7 gun that you can see here. This is pretty much all that matters about this vehicle is this gun here. And then it also has one 50 cal, one 12.7 millimeter A&M2 on the back. That is all you get when it comes to weaponry for this machine. The hull is 8mm, the superstructure is 4mm, and it has no extra armor protection. So the 19 members of crew on this thing are going to get absolutely roasted by pretty much anything that comes even close to this machine. X-ray wise, you can see where that crew is. It's all kind of center in this area, so shooting center mass is the way to go for this machine. It does have access to 2 engines and also a pretty interesting little smoke funnel. It's incredibly small, so just looks kind of cool actually in the way that it's set up on the X-rays. Has a steering gear and also a transmission, fuel tanks in the bottom, and the vast majority of the ammo in the front for that 40mm. There's also some ammo in the back, 2,000 rounds for the 50 cal, but everything else is empty and there's not really a lot there. So what happens with a lot of these British ships around this BR, you can have a look at stuff like the Dark Aggressor, for example, like the Dark class machines, the Dark Adventurer as well, the Fairmile, even stuff like the Grey Fox, and also the Grey Goose, which was added in the Space Race event. They are very dependent on their 40mm to do damage and to kind of carry them through the game to be useful. And there's no difference with them comparing to the Arrow. The Arrow has the 40mm, it's the pretty good one, the one which doesn't really ever run out of ammo, the Mark 7 gun, which has a very good reload rate, and you just can keep firing it over and over and over and over again, just trying to hit, coastal targets, banging them and just having a decent time. And you'll be able to overall do a lot of damage to stuff, but if this gun gets taken out, or if you go up against something which has a bit of armor, you're not really going to be able to do anything to it, and your survivability is pretty much 0, and your speed is not very good either, so it's going to be a bit hard to move around the place. Very basic on the modifications, obviously auxiliary armament being a 50 cal. That is not a very useful modification, but you do need it to unlock the primary one, and since this is a 40, definitely worth going for. The artillery support is quite nice as well. They actually buffed artillery against smaller boats like PT boats, so we'll have to see how effective that is. And the 40 does get access to HE and AP ammunition, so mainly Heffy and then APT. So if you want that extra pen, it can actually pen up to 81mm, which is not too bad. But I think HE will probably be the way to go to do the maximum amount of damage against the enemies which don't have a ton of armor. So even though this thing is not, going to be meta-defining, or it's not going to take over the game or do anything crazy like that, I kind of like these boats. They basically just remind me of standard boats where somebody has just added a massive gun on the front of them. And the actual machine itself, the Arrow, it's really well modeled. The HD, the HD model of it is fantastic, and the gun, you can see, it's pretty rapid fire. You can destroy PT boats pretty quickly and just keep railing on it over and over again. But it also has the beautiful funnel with the smoke in it. It can also create a smoke screen if it wants to be able to, try and keep itself alive. And yeah, it's a really beautiful machine. Like, it's just another one of those which looks really nice. They do need to move the camera back a little bit so I can actually appreciate this whole thing. But being at 2.7, if you actually play around your BR, it'll be fine. Like, it'll be quite fun. If you get up BR'd, you can actually get into destroyers with this thing, and obviously that wouldn't be very nice. The British or the Royal Navy or the whatever you want to call it, the coastal fleet for Britain has some very nice bright spots, but it also has some absolutely horrific spots on it. And this one is kind of in the middle, because even though it's not quick and not survivable, at least if you can park it up in an area, the gun can be incredibly effective against other machines. I'm kind of looking forward to getting this one, but then again, I still need to research the other machine with the tank turret on it to give that one a go at some point as well. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Nicholas Richardson, Elove Goat, Pyman675, Winter Scientist, Merciless Reaper, Jerry Prevolt, Megadino King, Orange Tail, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, Uncle Bean, Sem Arslan, Derek R., Bareen, Lafouche, and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.